Hi guys, it's time for another Heroes of the Storm guide. Today I will talk about Jaina. This is a hero of which I grew very fond in the last couple of weeks. This is due to her good looks, but also the high damage output she can produce, both in teamfights as well as against single targets. I guess you can somewhat compare her damage to that of Kill. One of the biggest advantages Jaina has over Kill in my opinion is the slow lock. From the get-go, all her skills slow targets movement speed by 25% for 4 seconds. Frostbolt has a cooldown of 4 seconds, so in theory you could slow targets indefinitely. However, Frostbolts are missiles, which have a travel time. This means that without the right talents, enemies are unslowed for a split second, which might be just enough for them to escape. That immediately brings me to the first talent I usually pick, and that's Lingering Chill. It increases the slow duration of Frostbite by 2 seconds, which totals it to 6 seconds. So now you should be perfectly able to slow lock an enemy for reals. Some other people I play with are very fond of Deep Chill, which increases the slow effect from 25% to 35%. This has a big advantage for Blizzard, as it will be much harder for enemies to walk out of its radius. Hence, if a target is slowed, you and your allies will actually have an easier job chasing the target. However, as mentioned before, with this talent you will be unable to have a perfect slow lock. Furthermore, if you do the math, Lingering Chill slows for more distance. Let's assume an enemy hero's speed is 10 meters a second. A 6 seconds 25% movement speed decrease will result in enemy moving 45 meters in 6 seconds. A 4 seconds 35% movement speed decrease will result in enemy moving 46 meters over 6 seconds of course. Of course, this calculation is relative because you also have Blizzard and Cone of Cold, which both prolong the slow. Let's say you can time all your skills perfectly for slowing the enemy as long as possible, then you would probably get around 12 to 13 seconds of slow on that target. If you would measure the distance an enemy can travel within this time, then sure, Deep Chill wins from Lingering Chill by 10%. But in the field, you will probably do all your skills as fast as possible on the target, to get all your damage in as fast as possible and get to safety. Lingering Chill just gives your teammates 2 extra seconds to get in range for their damage and or abilities. And that's exactly the reason why I like it more than Deep Chill. However, it's kinda situational. I sometimes prefer Deep Chill on the 2 lane maps. Battles are happening much more often and in much more tight spaces. Indeed, in those situations, Deep Chill feels better. Enough about the level 1 talent. Let's move on. Arcane Intellect will prolong the duration you can stay on the field doing damage and all, but I only have mana issues in the early game and only if I use both Blizzard and Cone of Cold to clear out lanes. If there's no rush, you can just as well use auto attacks and Blizzard. If you do want to choose Arcane Intellect, you will have an extra reason to pick Lingering Chill at level 1, as you can return more mana from using one ability. Frost Shard is obviously nice because you'll be able to hit 2 targets, slowing 2 targets and dealing damage to 2 targets, and Frost Shard only has 4 seconds cooldown. However, I believe that Snowstorm is a lot stronger as it will improve the Blizzard's utility. First, you can and will hit more targets with a 30% increased radius. Second, you can more easily zone out certain areas, preventing enemies from moving in or out via that area. Finally, you can completely obliterate enemy lane minions with just one spell. At level 7, pick Frostbitten for the obvious reason. The rest of the talents are okay, but as Jaina you are supposed to do nuke damage. And as the very least, you should try to prevent fights from dragging out simply because you are super squishy and an easy target. Frostbitten helps you achieve that, at least in my opinion. At level 10 I always take the good old water elemental. It does decent damage, slows targets and it can soak some damage. And as you can see on the screen, it can kill Novas easily. Icy Veins can dramatically increase your damage when activated during critical moments. However, your damage will drop even more dramatically if you die prematurely. To prevent this from happening, I always pick improved Ice Block. At level 16 you have to make a situational choice. Northern Exposure increases all damage taken by 25% if targets are hit by Cone of Cold. I usually do not take this skill as Cone of Cold is a short range skill and it's most often the last skill in my skill sequence. It also increases the damage of your allies on those targets affected. However, I like Numbing Blast a lot more. It completely blocks enemy movement for 1 second, trapping them in the Blizzard's area of effect, or it can help you escape enemies' wrath. Finally, take Winter Mute, which greatly improves your water elemental as it will now mimic your abilities against 50% damage. This is a big damage increase, hence you can actually aim the abilities of your elemental. In fights, your elemental is usually right in the middle of all the action, so you can actually shoot your bolts and cone of cold in thin air with Jaina, but in fact aim those skills with your elemental hitting and slowing enemies. So now there should really be no escape for your foes. Alternatively, if you feel like you're dying too easy with the composition you are facing, don't hesitate and take blink. Like I said before, you will do a lot more damage alive than dead. Furthermore, you can use blink to initiate your attack or chase down enemies. That's it concerning Jaina's build. I'm going to get myself some sweet ice cream. See you guys later.
Well deserved.
Hello, guys. Check that video for Team Tinker Gaslow action.
And Jack, wait, did you point at that one or that one?
I'm pointing at that one,
Okay, well, check that one for the awesome rapid Nova!
And like, subscribe, follow.
Will you subscribe, follow every day?
Whoa, anyone there? Anyone there? Anyone there? Okay.
Doei.